Okay, so here's the TC Helicon Voice Tone H1 Intelligent Harmony Pedal, and it's a very nifty bit of kit. You can do a lot with it. It's essentially adds backing harmonies to your main vocal. So there are three controls on this. There's the key control where you can manually set keys, and I'll explain why that's quite cool in a minute. We've got a voices control, so you can have voices that are below your main vocal or above. That's great for female and male vocals. Male, you might want some backing vocals above, and other way for female vocals. And then we have a control here, dry and wet. So dry will just be your lead vocal, and wet it will be just backing vocals. So I'll just have it somewhere in the middle, maybe slightly off center. It's quite good to be quite subtle with this, because backing vocals are always lower in a mix. So maybe turn it to 10 o'clock or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the key mode first and then the guitar mode. So we're in the key of E major at the moment. If I sing an E in this position with the voices slightly below and slightly above, I'm going to get the other two notes of an E major triad. So if I sing an E, I'll get the B below and the G sharp above it. Pretty good. If I now sing a G sharp, for example, I'll get the E below and the B above it. Pretty good. So, and I can do that with any key. So if I sing an E, I'll show you what the voices control does from bottom to top. You can have one or two backing vocals with this. So you'll hear the low backing vocal here with this. Just about enough breath for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to slightly above and slightly below. That seems to work quite nicely. And this time I'm going to set the key thing here to guitar. Now the guitar input, all it needs to see, or hear rather, is a root note and a third, whether it be major or minor, and then it'll sort the backing vocals for that. So I'll just pick the guitar up. So if I've got my E chord there, now, by the way, the reason that you are hearing three voices at once, what you do is you plug your mic into the pedal and the output goes to your PA system. And there is a control on the side called mic gain. It's important that that's set correctly, because if you've got not enough level going into it, it won't be able to hear your note properly and might not actually replicate the other notes properly. There's a ground lift as well, which is quite useful if you've got a keyboard that you're using this with. You don't want mains frequencies all over that, because it'll screw up the whole harmony thing. There's also another button called mic control, and what that does is it allows the TC Helicon mic, which is the MP75, that has a switch on it that allows you to either have backing vocals on or off, and it's just a switch on the mic. They've really thought about this, and if you use it subtly, it's really good. If you have the level quite low, it just thickens up those harmonies without making them over the top. So if I have them really over the top, it's just a bit of a mess. So I'll just have it slightly drier, maybe 9 o'clock. And it responds to vibrato quite nicely as well. There's an awful lot of processing going on with this. Now, if you are a bass player, as I was for a number of years with this pedal, you can still do backing vocals, because a bass, you're playing mostly one note at once, and you have to set the key correctly to make it work properly. So you need to know your modes. So, for example, if I were to play the bass line from I Shot the Sheriff, for example. I'll just grab my Fender bass. I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot no deputy. If you are playing a blues in G, you need the key of C. So I'll just set C on here. So the pedal can't see it can't see a third to work with. It's only got a bass line, so it doesn't know what to do. You can set the key really quickly. On some of the other the harmony models, you have to go into menus and things. So if you're a bass player, this model is really good buy. So now if you're playing in major 7, let's say you're doing Girl from Ipanema in F, you need the key of C. You need to use the Lydian mode. So if I'm going to use the key of C. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking. The trouble with jazz standards is that they change all the time. So we're kind of going into murky territory here. But if you're playing rock and pop, any blues, any funk music, this works perfectly.